Welcome back, friends, to another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Lids87 here, and today I am bringing you guys another How Worthy Are They video. A series where I cover units on upcoming banners to see how worthy they are of your precious tickets and or gems, or lack of, because we all know in the past month that has been pretty brutal on a lot of players' resources, and we got the Global First LD for the 3rd year anniversary on the horizon. So what tickets and or gems? But hopefully I can help you decide that with whatever tickets and or gems you guys still have left. But before I get into it though, friends, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and shoutouts where shoutouts are due to the Materia Bot, Compendium, and Toneberry Troop. Links will be down below in the description. And to Rem, seriously, thank you for all the help that you have been providing, and for the database. It is a wonderful resource for the entire community. January 14th, UTC time, we will be getting the next event, Mission Dungeon. There's going to be a new LD Burst weapon. It's going to be Firion, obviously. But I wanted to show this for the confirmation of a free multi-draw on each banner. So there's going to be 2 free multi-draws in total. There's going to be 2 banners. Both of them are going to have Firion's LD and Burst weapons. One of them has Lena, Irvine, and Fujin. The other one has Firion's EX weapon, Golbez, Wolbez, and Ferris's weapons on there. So depending on which units you want, that's where you're going to chase Firion's weapons on. Now, let's go ahead and take a look to see what Firion is going to be coming back with his weapons and his own rework into the global side of the game, and he's going to be getting a costume. It actually looks pretty cool. Firion, if you're not familiar with Firion, he is a protagonist from Final Fantasy II. He's going to be Red Crystal Affinity. Now, Firion is a melee range hybrid attacker with healing capabilities built into his kit. Now, there will be timestamps below, either down below in the description, the time frame, or the comments, if you guys are already familiar with Firion and would like to skip to a later portion of this video. Anybody else, I will be recapping what Firion does. Now, before I start talking about Firion, is that I did change my layout for when I do stream on Twitch. Yes, I stream on Twitch, but I don't think it might be best on mobile view, so I will be looking to change this just so it's a little bit more legible on smaller devices. So please bear with me as I go on with the videos and I do see what works best just for all types of media. All right, friends. Firion does have a mannequin weapon, a dark mannequin weapon that you can get for free in Arc 2 Chapter 5.8. A lot of protagonists have these weapons, and I highly recommend you don't sell them. Lock them as soon as you get them, and just leave them there until you can max them out, because what this is going to do for Firion is that this is going to increase the brave damage done by blood weapon and seize attack by 10%, and it's only 5 CP to equip. So if you need the extra damage boost, this is where you can get it from. Now, Firion's very first ability, blood weapon. Now, both of his abilities, actually, and his EX ability, they do upgrade when he reaches certain HP threshold. So his blood weapon and seize attack, his first and second ability, will upgrade when he's above that 50% HP threshold, and his EX ability when he is above 80%. So just primarily more damage, but we're going to talk about that. All right, friends. So the main thing to know about blood weapon is in the base is that upon use, this is going to recover the party's HP with a 25% max HP limit. Any extra HP healed is going to be converted to brave, and this will grant him a buff called blood weapon. Now, when this is in its plus form, blood weapon plus, I did highlight the changes in yellow so you guys can better read it or see it, is that now this is going to be doing a 3-hit melee brave plus HP attack executed twice. The brave potencies for this are very low. The first set of brave hits are going to be doing 15%. The second set of brave hits are going to be doing 20% per brave hit. But on the last HP attack, this is going to do 50% HP splash. Now, Lids, that is very, very low brave potencies per brave hit. That is okay, because if you look back up underneath blood weapon, underneath the passives, with his passives, Firion's going to give himself an additional 380% brave damage up boost. So this is going to save him when it comes to the damage, regardless, even if his brave potencies per brave hit are pretty low. He's going to be doing okay damage. All right, friends. Now, his blood weapon buff, it is a 6-turn buff on himself that's going to increase his max brave and attack by 30% when he's above the 50% HP threshold. This will upgrade brave and HP attack to plus if you do happen to have his LD weapon maxed out. So now we're looking at party healing. We're looking at self-healing for Firion upon using these upgraded forms. His second ability, Seize Attack. When he's above the 50% HP threshold, you're going to be getting Seize Attack plus. Now, this is going to heal the party's brave by 100% of attack. This is going to be a 3-hit range brave plus HP attack executed twice. The brave potencies are going to be at 50% and 90%. First set of brave hits, second set of brave hits. Now, the main difference between Seize Attack and Seize Attack plus is that Seize Attack plus is going to grant Firion 2 generic buffs. The first one being 100% max brave for 8 turns. The second being a brave regen of 80% of his imp brave for 8 turns. Both of these abilities have a blood weapon form when blood weapon buff is active on Firion. So the main difference for this is the blood weapon form. So Seize Attack Blood Weapon, Seize Attack plus Blood Weapon is now this is going to heal the party by 50% of HP damage dealt with a 35% of max HP limit. Extra is converted to Brave. So if you need that extra healing, be sure that blood weapon is active on Firion to give the party members an HP heal. Firion's additional ability, HP Drain Advanced Thrust, he's going to do some damage, heal himself, and he's going to increase his stolen max Brave overflow for 4 turns. His call action, he's going to come in, do some damage, heal the party, so another healing call action, which is actually very useful in my own personal opinion. For a 3-turn special effect, the caller is going to raise their max Brave and attack by 20% with the C80. This is going to go from 3 turns to 6 turn special effect. Firion's EX ability, so there's going to be no changes to here. The rework primarily focuses on his blood weapon and Seize Attack extensions. So weapon mastery in its plus form, so when he's above 80% HP threshold, is going to increase the Brave potency, so just keep that in mind. At base, or either or, this is going to do AoE range Brave hits, followed by 100% AoE HP attack. Now, this is going to heal his own Brave by 50% HP damage dealt, and this is going to extend his own existing buffs by 2 turns, and he will grant himself Hot-Blooded buff to himself. At EX plus 2 out of 3, when the quest starts, he will gain Hot-Blooded and Blood Weapon for 6 turns. So all you have to do is use Seize Attack Plus to gain the remainder of his buff, so that Brave Regen and Max Brave buff. Hot-Blooded, it is a buff on Firion that's going to increase his own attack by 50% and give him a Brave Regen effect of 70% of his Int Brave. Now, his bonus sphere, after you max out his EX weapon, the wielder, when their own HP is restored, this is going to raise their max Brave by 10% for 6 turns. Those of you that skipped ahead, welcome back, and let's take a look at Firion's LD weapon. His LD ability, Vortex Arms. This is going to do AoE Brave damage with split HP attack, executed twice. The Brave potency is pretty nice. First set 70%, second set 110% Brave potency per Brave hit. If he is attacking a single target, this is going to increase the Brave damage dealt by 60%. There's going to be a party HP heal in here also. Extra is converted to Brave, but now he's going to be inflicting Drain Weapon, a debuff on all the targets. Drain Weapon it is a 6-turn debuff that is going to decrease the afflicted their attack. It's going to decrease it by 30%, and this is going to trigger a trap called Drain Weapon after that enemy turn ends. This is going to heal Firion's Brave by 20%. This is going to do 3-hit range Brave plus HP attack with an 80% Brave potency per Brave hit. This is going to heal the party with a 10% max HP limit, and this is going to heal his own Brave by 30% of HP damage dealt. So this is a pretty good trap to help you heal up your party members while also keeping the enemy's Brave in check after they take a turn. Not only that is that once you max limit break Firion's LD weapon, there's going to be an invisible or aura-wide, just invisible passive of 60% attack up to the entire party. So this is the cherry on top for this LD weapon. I personally really like this LD weapon for Firion. I believe it is a great LD weapon to add into your inventory. The final weapon for Firion, his burst ability, Fervid Blazer. This is a burst effect 4 turns party-wide when said party member's HP is at max. Now, this is going to increase that party member's max Brave by 50%. This is going to give them a Brave Regen effect of 200% of Int Brave. And this is going to heal Brave by 20% of HP damage dealt once per turn. So this is primarily a Brave healing burst effect compared to someone like Lightnings or Clouds, where it increases your party member's Brave damage. So I guess it really depends on what kind of situation you're in. I personally like the Brave damage up type of burst effects to the party members, but Brave Regen burst effects can come in handy, especially if you're running especially if you're running on fumes near the tail end of the fights. Just a nice way to get massive amounts of Brave back so you can dump it out on the enemies to hopefully help you just take out the enemy before the requirement for that stage. So it's not a bad burst weapon, but again, in my opinion, I prefer the other ones, but it really depends on the situation that you are put in. And the final piece of equipment for Firion is going to be a 7-star armor, which is going to come with the supports keystone. It's going to increase the all the party's attack by 5% and allow them to exceed the held Brave and HP damage limit by 5%. So some pros about Firion is that first and foremost, he's a ranged melee hybrid attacker with healing capabilities built into his kit for both Brave and HP. So he's filling 2 roles at once, just allowing you to experiment a little bit more with your team compositions. And his abilities do non-elemental attacks, so you can enhance them with an element, you can imperil the enemies with a certain element, just allowing Firion to dish out more damage, With his LD debuff, like I mentioned earlier with his drain weapon, this is a nice way to keep the enemy's brave in check after they take a turn while healing up your party members. Also with his LD ability, the beautiful thing about it is that once its max limit broken, just a permanent on-field 60% attack up to your party members. Now, of course, with all the pros, there are going to be cons. Cons for Firion is that they're not bad cons, truthfully. If you ask me, they're not bad cons as long as you keep him healthy. Is that he has to be above the 50% HP threshold in order to upgrade his abilities. 80% for his EX ability. So you will be losing out on a little bit of damage, so be very careful if you do happen to pair him up with Vivi. Now, enemies that do cleanse themselves, which we have been seeing more frequently during the Lufenia era, will cleanse Firion's drain weapon debuff. So that means you're going to have to be using his LD a little bit more often. Not unless you can plan around it, because some, especially with his Lufenia bosses, they're going to cleanse during a certain HP threshold. So if you can plan around that, you're going to be just fine. And lastly, Firion, he is going to primarily buff himself only outside of his LD with that invisible party-wide 60% attack up. Firion buffs himself. He's got 4 buffs on himself, 2 frame, 2 generic. So also be very careful if you do happen to bring a party member that gives a party more than 2 buffs, because now you're going to be pushing his own generic buffs off of him. Not unless you want to give him something else, then sure, by all means. Let's go ahead and quickly take a look at the Lufenia bosses. These things, the aggro bosses, yeah, these jerks, I don't like them whatsoever. But they are not immune or resistant to anything, so have fun. I will leave a link down below in the description to the Lufenia research page done by the Toneberry Troop. Thank you guys for putting that page together. Extremely helpful. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead, again, right down below in the description. Special counter is going to appear at the 79% HP threshold and at the 49 HP threshold after using Globulated Crush Plus. It's going to cancel at the 49% HP threshold, and you can increase it by 1 per ally that is healed with the Burst HP heal. So what that means, any form of Burst HP healing that is not HP regen. HP regen will not increase the special counter. So just for example, someone like Rude, Firion, or Aerith, just massive amounts of healing. It doesn't have to be massive, but just in one turn after you use their ability to increase the special counter. All right, friends, so just keep in mind, HP regen does not count. So tips for fighting these dudes is that be careful when they start floating, because they start grounded, but then they float. They start using Globulated Crush, AoE HP attack. Just be careful. It hurts. All right, it does hurt. Now at the 50% HP threshold, and if they are grounded, they will float, cleanse all debuffs, buff themselves for generic buffs, and massive Brave Battery. And here comes that Globulated Crush Plus. You can bring Emma Detalion as your friend support. Emma Detalion is going to help push some of those buffs off while bringing their Brave down to 0 with Emma Detalion's LD ability. When they start floating after this 50% HP threshold, the second phase of the special counter is going to appear at 49% HP after they use that Globulated Crush Plus. So during this time, you can go ham. You can delay them to prolong that special counter, to delay it, so to say, the special counter to a later portion in the fight. So take full advantage of this portion. Go ham here. Try to kill them as fast as you can. That way you won't struggle as much when the special counter comes back up. Now, when it comes to team compositions, these are some examples. All right, examples. Some burst healers, you're going to bring Rude, Mr. Worldwide. Firion, Daddio, Beatrix, Gaunt, and Arciela can come in handy. Tanks, you're going to bring Daddio, Warrior of Light, and your friend support, Emma Detalion, shines brightly here as your friend support unit. Alright friends, now we're at that portion of the video. How worthy are they? How worthy is Firion of your precious tickets and or gems, if you guys still have any left? In my opinion, Firion's LD is worthy of your tickets and or gems. Keep in mind that both of these banners are going to have one free multi-draw, so you could possibly pick up either of his weapons for free. It is completely up to RNG. Now, Firion is he's gonna be coming back with one hell of a rework with LD and Burst weapon to help out his kit. Being able to fill 2 roles at once, being an attacker and a healer, is going to allow you, again, to experiment a little bit more with your team compositions. Maybe bring 2 healers. Why not? Maybe bring another massive Brave Battery. Maybe bring someone that increases Firion's own Imp Brave so he has a better Imp Brave buff. Or during the Burst effect, just massive Brave regen towards your party members. You can experiment a little bit more. Now, with his LD, with his Drain Weapon debuff, it is an excellent way to keep the enemies in line after they act, after they move. Maybe they just do a Brave attack, they get some Brave back. You could do Drain Weapon follow-up while healing your party members while doing some damage towards the enemies, potentially breaking them and just stopping them from doing whatever they're going to do. I love the Drain Weapon follow-up trap. Also, with his LD weapon, giving your party members 60% attack up is a nice way to increase their stats, just allowing your party members to hit harder. So 60% attack up, that's a pretty good attack up buff, if you ask me. Now, I believe that his LD weapon is more than enough for Firion, especially if you have someone like Cloud or Lightning, who their burst effects let your party members deal out more Brave damage. Brave regen definitely can come in handy. Again, that's what Firion's burst effect does for your party members. Gives them Brave regen and refunds 20% of Brave based on HP damage dealt. But I do believe that it really depends on the type of situation you're in. If you're at the tail end of a fight, you're running on fumes, you're very low on abilities, Brave regen of course comes in handy. Or even before that, Brave regen allows you to save on your abilities if you're planning to just burst them down at a later portion of the fight. Sure, that could come in handy, especially if you're bringing a friend support Firion. Use the burst effect, Brave healing during your own character's burst effect. Different character, right? Same burst effects do not stack, just to allow your party members to dish out more damage from the massive healing. But you might be put in certain situations where the enemy shields themselves, as you guys have been seeing lately. They get a large amount of Brave and maybe some very potent defensive buff. Brave regen's not going to help you there. You have to shave them. So that's where I see, or I feel, that Cloud's or Lightning's burst effect does overpower Firion's burst effect. But again, friends, it all depends on the situation you're in. It's going to come down to what you guys prefer. If you guys spam abilities like crazy, hey, Brave regen effect, burst effect for your party members, that's going to fill in quite nicely for what you are currently doing. But I will say this for Firion's finish burst is that it is amongst my favorite animations in the actual game. I love his finish burst. It's so fast, flashy. I really like it a lot. So if you guys do happen to pick it up, you guys will see what I mean. If you guys have already seen it, if not, go YouTube it. Go do something, or watch a trailer once they reveal his stuff for the global side of the game. All right, friends. So again, at the end of the day, his LD, I believe it is worthy. You don't have to chase the burst, in my opinion. It really depends on your situation, but LD worthy on Lids is worth a meter. You know what? Screw that, Lids. I'm gonna chase Firion's burst weapon because I love Brave regen and I love Firion from Final Fantasy II. He's my favorite character, so you can screw your recommendation. What banner is the best burst banner to chase Firion's burst weapon on? Let me go ahead and tell you that right now. So Firion's burst weapon is going to be featured on 4 different banners. Now, keep in mind that the very last banner is going to end after February, like February 1st UTC time, if I remember off the top of my head. And the global 3rd anniversary is coming. All right, it should be in February. I don't know if it's going to be right at the start of February. We're going to find out during the next Square Enix live stream. But I don't think the Global First LD will be alongside Firion. I really don't think. I think it's going to be alongside Ramza. But it's possible, just because, again, the very last portion of Firion is going to be right. It's going to end a little right after February starts. So just keep that in mind. It is possible. We will have to find out during the Square Enix live stream. But with just these into consideration, which is the best burst banner to chase Firion's burst weapon on? I'm going to tell you right here. It's going to be Dark Knight Cecil. I highly recommend you guys go for Dark Knight Cecil because, let me recap Dark Knight Cecil, alright? Dark Knight Cecil is going to be getting reworked. LD weapon. Hits like a freaking truck strapped to a rocket. This guy hits really hard at the cost of HP. He is a Dark Knight. Delays built into his kit. Launches with party battery during the launch. Dark resist down, so he's going to be hitting even harder. A staple. He is a staple for chase team compositions. Even outside of chase team compositions, Dark Knight Cecil is a good unit to pick up and add onto your team compositions. All right, friends, so if you were to chase for Firion's burst weapon, this is the banner to do so. That is it for this video, friends. I want to thank you guys for watching my How Worthy Are They covering Firion. Be sure to let me know down below in the comments what you guys are going to be doing for Firion's banner. Me personally, I like Firion. I do have his kit on the global side. I'm sorry, the JP side, his LD and burst weapon. He did great for me, but using him, I primarily used him for his LD. I didn't really use his burst effect. I used other party members' burst effect. So on the global side, I'm going to throw like 200 tickets in attempts to get his LD weapon, depending on how the free multis go. All right, friends. So tickets, lots of tickets for Firion's LD, 200, 300, because in February, I'm estimating is when we're supposed to be receiving the next summon board grind. So it's going to be Divine summon boards. All right, so we should be getting about maybe 400 tickets, give or take, if they keep the same as the JP side. All right, friends, so 200, 300 tickets for Lids on the Firion banners to try to get his LD weapons. All right, friends, so again, all your wonderful feedback down below in the comments. What you guys going to do for this banner? And until next time, friends, good luck and have a good one.